are just starting out on YouTube or you're still on that road to your first 1,000 subscribers like me, today we're going to be getting some tips from someone who's grown their channel to over 700 subscribers in just 7 months. So let me know in the chat, how many subscribers are you at on your channel and how long has it taken you to get that far? I've been going for about a year and a half and I'm up to 360 subscribers. So no, I'm not. I'm up to 630. That's the opposite. Which, it's great. I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I honestly didn't think that we'd be at that stage so fast. So yeah, I was mind blown to hear about Omar's journey. So today we're going to be joined by Omar from Carolina Language Solutions and Habla Conmigo TV. And first things first, I will see if I can get Omar to teach me how to say that properly. So thank you so much for being here today, Omar. Awesome to have you.
Awesome. Much appreciative of the opportunity to join you today. And you are so close in the pronunciation. Habla conmigo TV in Espanol. Because we're going to just simply utilize the Spanish alphabet there, but you are super close.
Oh, awesome. Shall I try again?
Absolutely. Habla conmigo TV. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Qué bien.
Wonderful. Do we have any Spanish speakers in the live chat? Let us know where you're watching from. So lovely to have everyone here today. And to get us started, could you fill us in, Omar, on what your channel is all about and what kind of content you're making?
Absolutely. So I have a business here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Carolina Language Solutions, where we delve in teaching languages to clients, companies, clients, things of that nature. It's from an international standpoint. So we do have clients that live overseas outside of the continental United States, and we address all languages. Well, all of some of the major languages: German, French, Portuguese, Espanol, Mandarin, Arabic, and did I say French? French and English as a second language. So we have those for teaching the languages as well as interpretive needs, as well as translation or transcription from one language into English or the opposite. So that's what we do from a business standpoint. And so I've utilized that to open up my YouTube channel. And so my YouTube channel is just strictly, the niche is teaching Spanish. And from going in February, technically March 21st ish, somewhere around there, of 2022, I chose that niche. And it's not, it was at first when you got into it was like, oh my God, there's like people all over, YouTube that are doing this. How am I going to have any type of effect in this, niche? And I said, well, don't really care about that. I just want to get my creative juices flowing and utilize YouTube for that platform. And so within a short amount of time, it began to grow. And I just said, I've been doing it's something I've been doing as far as teaching Spanish for over 20 years. And I was like, I want something much more enticing and entertaining for me personally. And so I utilize YouTube for that extra energy that I may need when it comes to teaching Spanish. So it's an awesome thing. I've enjoyed the journey, and it's only getting better. So I've actually tapped into the Halloween thing that we talked about earlier. Just like, hey, I'm just going to throw some festive type stuff together and see how that goes. So definitely
like this one right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Yeah, that's one of the things that we hear about we met through Video Ranking Academy. I think there's a few VRA fam in the chat there. And that one of the big things that they talk about is like tent poles, and with your channel, like when there is something coming up that people are naturally going to be searching, or it's going to be coming up in their feeds, like
Yeah,
Halloween is on its
yeah,
way.
right,
Like,
right, right.
so yeah,
And
amazing.
I debated with the most recent thumbnail with Nobu and with my brother who also has a channel as well. And I was like, after I released it, I was like, man, is this too scary? He was like, I don't know. It might be. My brother was like, it might be a little too scary. So he was like, give it some time. I was like, it might be a little early for bringing in the concept of Halloween via YouTube. But I said, he was like, at first, what does that even have to do with what you're doing? I'm like, it's nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with Halloween. It's Halloween. Like, we want to get into the spirit of it. So
I think
um,
it's great.
yeah,
Great tent
absolutely.
pole
Appreciate it.
use.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, I have some people that are saying, I think this is with regards to how I was saying, habla conmigo TV. Is that,
There you go. There you
ah,
go.
great. I speak Spanish now. It's
You
fantastic.
you'll be fluent next week.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Marianne. We have the adventures of Poppy and Neville up way late where you are. That's awesome. Thank you. My mum also says I did a great job. We got some
See?
friends of yours here in the
Yep,
chat.
yep, yep, yep.
Always
Absolutely.
willing to support. Love that.
Yeah.
Mum's in Strathalbyn. Thank you so much for being here, Nobu. Awesome. Some mutual friends. Love it. And yeah, so my mum says that she and my dad were in Spain 44 years ago. Do you remember any words, any of those words that you learnt, Mum? Awesome. How cool.
That was a good year because that was the year I was born. So if she's in 77, 78-ish range, it's a good
Beautiful.
time. Good time.
A very good time. So you all of those languages that you mentioned,
Mhm.
um, do you speak all of those languages?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
When I saw
Uh,
that on your website, I was like, "Oh my
yeah, and
god."
most people are like, "Oh, this guy's amazing." No, I'm sorry. I hate to inform people. I have, and so it's interesting. I've always had a love for languages. Growing up, I for a large majority of my childhood, I lived in Germany, and so I know German, but I don't know German. So I can decipher a few words at this late age in life, but prior to early on, like I was definitely well versed in the language. But that sparked my love for languages living in Germany. And then
Mm,
while I was there, I started to learn Spanish from a lot of my friends that were Latino. And so I would dive into that with them, and just kind of focused on that when I got back to the States throughout school. And then, of course, in college. And then while I was in college, I because I had such a great foundation in Spanish, I decided to go ahead and continue learning languages where I, started to focus on Portuguese. Um, Not fluent by any means, but I can hold a conversation, I think. And kind of, I will throw in some Spanish every now and then. There's like a 78% chance that the word in Portuguese is the same word in Espanol.
yeah.
Very, very
Mhm.
good chance there. So, what I actually do now is I contract work out to colleagues of mine that are in the education realm with those particular languages, and I work from that standpoint.
Mm, that's awesome. That's awesome. My mum says, caliente
See, there you go,
ducha?
Duce. Yeah, yeah.
Hot showers, very important when traveling in our combi van. That is
Yeah.
fantastic, and they also loved Portugal. What other, like, do you have any favorite hotspots of places that you like Spanish-speaking places that you've traveled to, Omar?
Yes. So I love La República Dominicana. That is like, and it's mainly because of it's easily accessible from where I live on the East Coast. So I definitely love going there. I studied abroad in Mexico in Guadalajara in at the University of Guadalajara, as well as, so I would say the state of Jalisco is probably one of my favorite states in Mexico, and with with more emphasis on Guadalajara. So I would say that, and then San Jose, Costa Rica is really super amazing. The entire country of Costa Rica is like super amazing. So I would say that's definitely a great spot to travel to for anyone. I did a little bit of time studying abroad in Panama as well. So I kind of like
Amazing.
did a whole little trilogy
Yeah.
there. Like it was like literally a year after a year. So I went from Mexico to Panama, and then from Panama back to Costa Rica to study abroad. Panama is cool, not my thing. It's a little bit too modern for me. So if I had to vote on what I like right now, it would be Costa Rica and La República Dominicana. And I would say from a European standpoint, I love Barcelona, or Barcelona, the way they say it in Spain, Barcelona. Um, I definitely love there. And then this December, the day after my birthday, on the 26th, I will be going to Colombia with my brother. So that's going to be pretty amazing to check out some cities there.
Awesome. That's so good. That is so good. My mum has told me that some of my descendants are from there.
See, and that's
So
why you just pronounce that "habla conmigo TV" so fluidly. That was there. It is. It's coming through. It's
that's
coming through.
fantastic. I haven't been there, but I would love to go. All right, we got some Spanish happening in the chat here from Nobu.
Oh, see.
You
She's a fan of La República Dominicana too. So that is awesome.
amazing.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So YouTube. So you only got started 7 months ago. You already
Yes.
have well over actually now. You have well over 700 subscribers. Like how has the journey been for you so far? Like how was the getting your first 100 subscribers? Because I feel like that's like the first big challenge with YouTube. The
Yeah,
first
yeah,
100.
absolutely. And I will tell you, for me, um, it's kind of like, for me, it was like watching the stock market. I was coming out of, we were
Like this?
still, yeah, literally watching like analytics. I was so deep into numbers at the beginning. My brother was like, I don't know why you watch these numbers. I'm like literally watching it like the stock market. So, but I had goals in mind, and I wanted to, and one of my things was I wanted to hit 100 subscribers within the first 30 days. Um, and I
Wow.
think I
Good goal.
literally were, I was, yeah, and I was teetering on getting into that, but I had to develop different strategies to get that 100. And it was a whirlwind. I will say this because I don't remember, I never wrote, I probably should have written down like when I actually accomplished 100, when I accomplished 500, because when it gets to like around that tipping point, it shoots past it. And then you're like, whoa, what happened?
I've made it.
So for me, it was definitely a humbling experience from 0 to 100, because I kind of felt like it was, oh man, I can get on this YouTube thing and make something happen. I got Facebook friends, and I've got Instagram friends. Like, this is gonna be a breeze. And I will tell you this. This was the 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 most humbling experience I've ever had in my life, where you literally are out in space and you have to start to make connections from space. Um, and so that journey in that first 100 was definitely humbling, and it allows you to open up, like, how can I attract more people based on the creativity or the things that I need to do to be super creative and kind of stand out amongst others. And so that's what I worked on to get to that 100. Um, and I wasn't really that great at all. I was like I was doing super basic things like using the camera from my laptop. I was editing on my phone, which is an Android, and it's not the best with trying to utilize just the basic um, format of trying to edit from your phone without having
So
any
like
additional apps. Oh yeah, it was too. It's
It's
so
so
yeah, it was so
frustrating.
like it's not too close. And then not like the first couple of videos I made, like people were like, "Man, why is the music so loud?" And I'm like, I'm sorry, like I was trying to just be a little
'Cause I'm
different.
just
So
beginning.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, gonna have to take the music out. Like there was things that I literally learned along the way that I was like, okay, when I get to 100, I've got to start figuring out, okay, how do I make better thumbnails? How do I edit better to get that music? I love music. And so I utilize it as much as I possibly can. And so I said, I got to buy an editing program that I can utilize. It's kind of, going to get me further. So, and that's that 1% that we talk about, that we learn about, right? So I just wanted to get 1% better with each delivery of a long form video, which has actually happened. So I've
Mm,
definitely enjoyed the journey.
yeah,
Definitely enjoyed the
and
journey.
it's amazing, and I just find it so inspiring, like, going back and watching people's first videos. Like,
Right.
it's so inspiring, and it's so amazing to see the journey that people go on, and for me, I remember I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. I remember hearing in, YouTube Secrets, in the book YouTube Secrets by
Mhm.
Sean and Benji Travis, that your first videos are gonna be your worst videos, and I was like, "Not me. My first
Right.
video is gonna be awesome."
Right.
And,
Right.
like,
Right.
I uploaded it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." Like, I'm so good. I'm a genius. This
Right.
is
Right.
amazing.
Right. I'm with you.
And
I'm with you.
and I looked when I look back on that video, I'm like, "It's very sweet, but
You're
it's
you're
not very
better
good."
you're better than me because I have yet to watch a video that I've done in the past. Only because from a mathematical standpoint, if I've gotten 1% better each time, and I'm at like, not counting the shorts, I'm maybe at like 40 or 40 something or 50 something videos. That's like 50% better. And I can't really, I just know 50% better is going to be so much better than what I started out with. I'm like, I'll wait until I get to like 1,000 to do like a throwback Thursday or a
Yeah,
flashback
yeah. You could do,
Friday
like,
episode
a
and do a
live
reaction
reaction
to
to
my
your
own
own.
video. Yeah, I'm gonna do a
Yeah, yeah.
reaction video to my own video, and I think that's gonna be one of the things that I do. That's gonna be super
Yeah.
creative. I don't think too many people have ever done that before. They talk about it, but I think that's gonna be something pretty cool to do a reaction video to my first video
It's a
ever.
great idea.
Oh
I will
yeah, yeah,
watch that.
yeah.
I will watch that. And,
Right.
like, I'm gonna okay, I'm not gonna watch my first video again for another, like, maybe 3.5 years, and then I'll do a live reaction to my first video. But, like, I think it's so good because I go back and watch, like, huge creators' first videos, and a lot of them still have them up there because I know that is super inspiring. Because you watch something like, the videos that Think Media puts out, or I don't that's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now, or, I'm sure Roberto Blake's videos and, like, Primal Video, all that stuff. You go back, you watch what they've got now, and it's like it's so good, and it can seem really unattainable, but then you sort them by oldest to newest, and you're like, "Oh, wow. They were where I'm at."
Right,
And
right.
it's
And
so
so
inspiring.
that's the biggest thing. Like I'll catch, like I do a lot of driving right now, and so I was telling you this last weekend. Like literally, I've stopped listening to satellite music. I just watch what I don't watch. Obviously, I don't want to put that out there. I don't watch the YouTube videos, but I do
Not
listen.
doing anything
And
illegal.
right, I watched Sean's stuff from like 3 years ago, and I'm just like, this is way better. Well, what he has now is like 100 times better than 3 years ago. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so that's the thing. And I'm not, you're not saying that the last one, I mean, he still got, 8,000 or 9,000 views on it. Um, and so those are things that I'm like, okay, 3 years ago, great. So at that 3 year mark for us, like I'm hoping to be like, oh man, this is like a walk in the park. And so I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
my friend here, my brother Sean, has said he did a reaction video to one of his videos. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, maybe it's like a thing that certain people think about. Like I'm like, that's gonna be so fun and so amazing to do. And I can't wait to that
Yeah.
moment. And I might need to write it down because I will forget. So, or I can always
Yeah.
come back and watch your
Write it
video.
down.
Yeah.
We'll set a reminder in our phones to do that in I'm gonna
Yes,
do mine in three and a
absolutely.
half years. Um,
Absolutely.
TSG Uncut. Did you say Sean? Is this Sean?
Yes, Sean. Yes.
What's your channel about, Sean?
So yeah, yeah. Type that in there, Sean. Tell us about
Yeah,
the
and
channel there. So,
I yeah,
so
you can't people can't drop links in here so that I don't have people coming in and dropping all kinds of, pornography and things like that.
right, right.
But feel free anyone who's watching who has a YouTube channel, feel free to drop in the chat like what's your channel name and what's your channel about.
Yes.
And that way people can find each other, and that's always very wholesome. And Christian is here. Thank you so much for being here, Christian. You little beauty. Christian has possibly the cutest dog in the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's so cute. His name's Dilla, and he's a very I got to cuddle him last weekend. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment for me. So, there you go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So Sean is
So
part of that group I was telling you about. We discussed a lot of things in the 30 minutes that the little bit of time we had. We covered a lot, and so and I don't want to jump ahead. So if this is something that you're going to talk about, I will hold off. But yes, he is someone that I've as far as a colleague in these YouTube in the YouTube space that I've recently within the last 3 to 4 months, we've started to gel and kind of use what we know. And I learned a lot from him as well. We've joined forces, if you will, to kind of better ourselves in the YouTube realm. So that is one of the great things about YouTube. I'm all about making the connections that are going to propel us
yeah,
to better areas in YouTube. So yes,
yeah, that's so beautiful.
absolutely.
It's so beautiful. And I love that so much. And like that's definitely a big part of what I'm trying to do on this channel is like connecting with other YouTubers. And I think there's so much to learn. Like even when people are in a completely different niche to what we're in, there's just so much to learn from each other, and there's so
Yes.
much to learn from being part of these communities. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'm interviewing different YouTubers every week, hearing about their journeys, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. And it's just amazing. Like I feel so fortunate to be able to have all of my questions that are going through my brain that I assume are things that other people want to know about as well. And I just seem to be getting all of the answers that I could ever possibly want from
Right, exactly. And
it's so
it makes
great.
it yeah, it makes it so much easier for the process of creativity and creation of your content. So by having the different people to bounce things, like literally, Nobu, we have gotten to a point now, like I may hear from her at least once or twice a week now. And
Yeah.
that's just simply from us being in the same group, which is
Mm.
it's a great thing to have more people responding and giving you ideas and hey, I would have done it this way. Like we talked about the community tab, man, till the cows came home, literally from Friday. Well,
Mm.
not talking, but texting or through Facebook Messenger. And like we went through and we broke down, hey, this is what we could have done and this is what you might want to do next time. I'm like, man, this is amazing. This is what we need. This is what a lot of YouTubers do not have,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
don't know this is the path that they should take to make them
Yeah.
better. Just like Marianne says that she
Yeah. Yeah.
connected with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And that's like that's the most heartwarming thing. It's so good. It's so, so good. And because I know for me, doing live streams regularly, I just realized I've been doing it weekly for 12 weeks now. Which, it's a start. But how many months is that? I'm not very good at maths.
4 months, maybe 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah,
12
something
weeks,
like that.
like 3 months or
Um,
something. I don't know,
And
maybe.
since doing that, it's like I have this beautiful connection with everyone who's here, and I love it so much. And I
Yeah.
feel like not alone. And when I was making videos before, and like there are all sorts of places where there are great communities that exist. I think, you know, being part of Video Ranking Academy is one thing, but actually connecting live and really chatting to people and the support that happens, oh,
Right.
it's so
Right.
good.
Right.
It's
Right.
so beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love this. It was one of Sean's YouTube friends that pushed you to do lives too. Now you've been doing them for over 15 months. Amazing. I'm so looking forward to checking out your channel, which is a men's improvement reaction and travel channel,
Yes.
which is open to everyone. So that's
Yes.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that. I love the idea of men being better men.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's so lovely to have you here, Sean. Awesome. Cool. So, yeah. So, one thing that seems really clear watching your videos and watching your channel, Omar, is that you're really clear about who your target audience is.
Yeah.
And your niche is just so specific. Can you speak a little bit to like the importance of that? And I think that's probably why you have had so much growth. One of the reasons you've had so much growth over the
Is it,
past 7 months.
okay, so everything is like literally I it's like I sleep, breathe, and think and talk YouTube all day. And it's not a good thing, I guess, for some people, because some people have jobs they have to actually
Yeah. That's why
work
these communities are
outside of
great
this,
because
right?
we're all
So,
obsessed.
and right, I'm on a little bit of a sabbatical right now, so it consumes a lot of the things that I do on a daily basis outside of my personal and private clients. But so the thing with my channel, and I say that to say this. Today, my brother and I were talking about niching down. And it was based on an interview that I was listening to on Thursday. Roberto Blake and a young lady who
Yes.
was doing a beauty. She runs a beauty channel, and she
Mm.
niched down and ultimately she went from 20,000 subscribers in 6 months to 100,000 because she niched down. So I started out day one. I was just like, I'm just going to put some Spanish stuff out here. People need to learn Spanish, and I'm, just going to have some things that I'm talking about. And my brother was like, hey, man, you might want to like start from the beginning. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, literally take us from day one. Like some of us don't know Spanish at all. And yes, Define Hair, Nobu. Yes, Define Hair channel. Yes. And I literally watched the whole thing as if I had
Yeah.
Define Hair. That's how
I
I was
watched it
locked
after
in.
you told me to watch it.
Right. I was watching that so hard. It was amazing.
Mm.
So I niched down a little bit because of what my brother said, and I take into account a lot of what people say. But I know he was like, "Hey, man, just niche it down, bring it down a little bit to like day one." It's like, okay, so I'll start off with some elementary things. And so then I said, okay, I think I had like 10 videos maybe. And I was like, well, I watched a video, somebody, it might have been Sean, or it was somebody from Think Media, or it was, Nick Nimmin or Roberto. It was one of those three. And it was like, hey, develop playlists. And I was like, oh man, let me start putting these in playlists. And so now I thrive on uniformity and clarity when you come to the page. So if you click on the playlist, it has a beginning Spanish playlist. It has a situational playlist. It has a WTF Wednesdays, what things frustrate me on Wednesdays. It has that playlist. I haven't really put a lot into that one anymore, but then
What
I've
things
got
frustrate?
what things frustrate me Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That's what we call it, WTF Wednesdays. Kind
Brilliant.
of coined that myself. So then I also have what I've been working on right now, which is our 30 for 30 challenge. And the 30 for 30 challenge is ultimately going to sit as an evergreen playlist because it's going to set up where people can go and get videos every day, and kind of, they don't necessarily connect, but they are things that you need to know to build a foundation for the language. So niching down also makes there's a way that you can niche down without having to completely focus in on one caveat. And I think that's by having the playlist set up. If you have playlists set up, I think a lot of times people can say, well, I do want to learn Spanish, but I know a little bit of Spanish. Okay, let me check out this playlist. Okay, this one sounds more my speed. And so mine is kind of different from everybody else. I don't necessarily have to niche down to like, oh, we're doing basic Spanish here, because people grow. Once they've learned enough, they are now able to move to the next playlist. It's like grades, literally kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. And that was my concept of going into the development of the playlist. So yeah, that's where I've niched into. But my brother and I are like, hey man, because he's trying to develop his niche. And I'm telling him, hey man, VRA, we got this thing about, find your niche. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we need to watch it, not just you. Maybe I need to watch it as well, because there might be some things that are said in that will allow me to find something to niche down even more. So I'm thinking about doing, well, not thinking, we are going to make that happen, he and I, so that we can, grow together on that. So
amazing. Love it.
Absolutely.
Sean says that's a great strategy, Omar. I point people to one video or playlist at the end of my videos. Who's watching, the YouTubers who are watching, are you using playlists? Are you making the most of playlists? I've just started using them. I have a Grow on YouTube playlist.
Yes.
That, it's great. It's there. It's if you've got a whole weekend to binge watch the entire lot.
And so that's my thing. Like, if you just come up with an idea like, hey, I want to talk about this in the next couple of videos, I would suggest to anybody, just I've seen some channels and I'm like, woo, you got a lot of stuff on here. It's and it's kind of like, I got a little bit of this, I got a little bit of spice here and a little spice over here. And I'm like, I get overwhelmed. For me, when I go to a channel, it's got like everything. And I'm like, it's kind of like, well, I don't know if do you have Walmart in Australia?
We've got similar. Walmart is like a store that sells everything, right?
Yeah. And you also like Amazon, like you walk in, it's like, we've got everything. And then you're like, like, okay, where do I start at? So that's why, like, if you have, like, maybe if you only have 5 videos and that you can, okay, I can put this video over here, I can put this video here. Start to do it early on, because I've seen some people with like 150 videos and they are all over the place. And I'm like, even for me, my thing is, like, I've watched some people that talk about like having the table of contents, like, where you time out throughout a video where things are.
Oh, like timestamps.
Yeah. The timestamps. Yes. I did that for one video and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, that's super tedious and it's a lot of work. And you've got to have a lot of patience when it comes to the timestamps. If you go back and do it, I don't know, maybe it's not as bad if you do it like immediately after. I have not yet done that. And I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I will get to that point. So,
it's the timestamping, I think, is really, really valuable if you're doing something like this. It's going to be, it's a long thing for someone to sit and watch, but so people can jump around to the bit that they like are the most curious about. I think they are really helpful. And also with like packing out your description with keywords, it helps with that as well. So I will like title my sections a keyword that I'm trying to be discoverable for.
And so, and that was the thing. That was the thing for me. Like, I was like, well, I have like 6-minute videos. Like, to really break it down like that, you're missing, like, you need all of it together for mine. And that's a perfect example, perfect point that you just made with live streams. I think that should be very, 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 very useful for a lot of people out here that are live streaming to start developing that. That was a good point. Good point.
Yeah, let us know who's live streaming on their channels. And what are you using? One thing that I have a question for you about playlists.
Okay.
And then I've got a question for you about live streaming.
Okay.
I'm just going to write that down because it's not in my notes. So there we go. So my question about playlists. I have obviously got quite long videos on my channel, which I am
Mhm.
breaking down into shorter ones, which is fantastic.
I know where this
Right.
question is going. Yes.
But in a playlist, no one is going to go, oh, yeah, I'll watch 17 hours worth of videos. Do you reckon, like, if I have, like, I think that maybe I think I'm doing my playlists wrong.
Okay.
It needs to be something that someone can sit down and binge watch. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's what Sean was saying
Yeah.
about his. So, yes,
So I've got too many videos in my playlist, probably.
yeah. So you can niche down
Yeah.
on your
So,
playlist.
like, getting yourself organized. I got an awesome live stream with Nobu about that, and I have an awesome one with Marianne about that. So, like, they fit together,
Right.
and
Niche
yeah,
down your playlist. Why not?
interesting.
I don't. That's one of the things. Like when people say niche down, like that could be niche down on your content. It could be niche down on your playlist. It could be niche
Mm,
down on what you talk about in your lives. Absolutely. And I think that niche down thing can actually work across the board. So I would say, hey, try niching down your playlist and see if that helps. I think it will.
mm,
Because if you have an idea of okay, this is what I want in my playlist, title your playlist that, and that might help. You might see some improvement, some
yeah,
optimization as we talk about it, once you put that in the
I
playlist.
love
People,
it.
yeah, that's hey, Nobu and Sean are like right at it. Like we've got a think tank popping right now. I love it. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That's awesome.
Amazing.
Wee, lol. I should probably go back and timestamp those lives because they are def longer videos. Yeah. Also, make sure to mention what your content is about, full of keywords in your video as YouTube transcribes your audio, and great opportunity for your videos to get suggested. Love
Yes,
it. That's a
yes,
really, really good. That's a good point. That's a bloody good point. So, this video is all about growing on YouTube, particularly for people who are at the beginning of their journey.
yes.
That's for
There
YouTube.
you go. There you go.
So now my question. Oh, all right. I also want to say to
Uh-huh.
everyone who is watching, I have been asking a lot of questions. If any of you have any questions, make sure you pop them in the chat. Let's do that. That'll be fun. My question about live streaming, I was thinking about how incredible it is the way you are using StreamYard
Yes,
to create content that isn't live. And I was
yes,
wondering if you could speak on that a little bit.
yes. So I was watching one of the thousand videos that I've watched from Think Media, right? So I was watching a video where Heather was, she was on StreamYard and she was popping up this screen that had the information on it. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I've got to get off of Loom because it's not giving me the quality that I want. I didn't know StreamYard had those capabilities. And so
Mm,
once I got onto StreamYard, and then I ended up, going through playing around with, the different settings. And then I hit setting and it said, oh, share your screen. And thank God my brother gave me one of his extra monitors of the 23 that he has. And I mean, if you ever see his, I'm gonna type his I'm gonna type his channel, or Sean, if Sean's still here, he can type his channel in there. But my brother has this setup that's like super intergalactic. Anyways, he gave me one of his monitors, and then that monitor allowed me to look at that screen because I noticed when Heather was doing the StreamYard and it was a recorded video, it wasn't a live at any point, I don't think. And she was looking at her screen. It was popping up what she was reading from, and I'm like, that's it. That's what I need. And so at that moment, I
brilliant.
was like, you know what? Yeah. And I was like, at that moment, and I think it was like at 300 or 250, somewhere around there. I don't know. I had to go back and watch those videos, but it was somewhere around like 2 to 300, I think. I was like, you know what? I've hit a goal. I've hit another 100. I'm going to buy StreamYard, right?
Mm,
And a lot of the live streams that I watch, like Sean and some other people that I watch, they use StreamYard. I don't know of too many people in my niche that are actually using StreamYard to its capabilities. There are a few,
mm,
but I'm like, okay, this allows me to, do a lot more, and I don't have to do the cliche teaching aspect of having a dry erase board and standing at a board and teaching from a board, which that has never been my style of teaching anyway. So the StreamYard allows for my attention span
Yeah.
to stay, for me to stay focused. Because I have a hard time focusing. So that's why I flip and jump cut it, B-roll, things that are not necessarily seen from a language component in a video like mine. So that's why I use StreamYard, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. And I know I'm only on like
Fantastic.
the bare minimum of like utilizing it. I haven't like jumped all the way in on StreamYard. So I can watch a tutorial on StreamYard and probably learn like 4 or 5 things. So yes.
Yeah. It's for there's so much to it. Nobu's made a very good point for the folks that don't know what is StreamYard. So this interview that we're doing right now is hosted through StreamYard. So like I think probably for the most part people do use it for live streaming. And it's just gives you the ability to do things like, pop things in really easily and popping comments up, and makes interaction with the audience really, really easy to do. I
Yeah.
haven't ever used any other kinds, but there's a link in the description and in the chat here if you want to check it out. And it's free to try. But one thing that is really amazing that Omar's doing is pre-recording.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And
just
then
awesome.
and that makes it's really easy because it asks you when you log in, it'll say upcoming and past, right? And so when it says upcoming, I simply hit pre-record video or something like that. I click. Now it's just like kind of automatic. I just go through, click, type the title in, erase it 37 times because I have to go back. That's another thing about this pre-recorded thing. I don't really do it anymore. I'll tell you what I do in a second. But once you do that, you just hit record and it's ready to go. Like, and then you just kind of just work with it as it goes. And I oftentimes don't pay attention to it except for when I want to run a banner at the bottom. And that's 2 things I want to talk about. So running my banner is like, I'll forget. And then I'm like 9 minutes into the video and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I gotta go back and start over because I want my banner. I love my banner. I created it. I need that. It's kind of just, it's like a news aspect. I wanted to give me the news vibe when people watch. It's like, oh, he's got something running at the bottom. And like, I'm just a person about attention. I'm focused on a lot when it comes to a screen. I'm looking right now in the top left corner. I'm like, man, I got to learn how to do that Claire did with her name and like the
Oh
show.
yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you up for a tutorial on that, so you can help me out on that. And I know Sean does it as well. So
yeah, I stole everything that I do. I stole from Sean.
Right. And so that, and then so the second thing was about that was the banner, and then the second thing is so my recording now, the pre-recording aspect that I do on StreamYard. At first, I would mess up, like, that's just common, especially if you're doing a video. You're like, I don't like the way that sounded, or my voice was too high, or my voice is too low, and it's one thing that you don't necessarily have to worry about with live streaming. It's so odd because when I'm on live stream, I don't ever mess up like I would when I'm recording videos. I'm like,
right?
You were supposed to say this.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like because I script for a lot of things for VOD, and so I'm like, man, I forgot to say that whole paragraph right there. Or I forgot those 3 sentences there, and I'm like, boy. But now, so the secret for me has been just letting it run, record. I hit about a 5-second break in between, start over. And like the video might come out like 22 minutes, but I chop it down to 6 minutes or 8 minutes because there's all that extra, hoopla from the mess ups to whatever. And I just cut that out, and it's so much easier now. Much easier now.
So being able to record things in this way rather than like filming it and going in and editing and doing all your bits and pieces, adding in all of your everything.
Yes.
How much time would you spend now editing a like a 7-minute video?
So great question. So I've learned from Heather Torres. Shout out to Heather if she's watching ever at this point. When
What a
she may come
sweetheart.
back, she may come back and watch this, like, when you blow up and you're big. So
Probably. Well, she's offered to come on my channel, which is very nice.
let's see. So hey man, we shout her out and
Maybe
then you
she
add
will when
her
she's
and like
researching.
there
Hey,
we go.
Heather.
There you go. There we go. So I learned from her that, and I think it was when we were in the challenge. I don't know if you were in our challenge, and I don't think you were, but I was in a challenge. I think Nobu might have been in there, but the challenge she was talking about scheduling and creating a schedule. And I was like, oh, that's me. I need a schedule because I would literally sit down for hours on end. It was kind of like playing Tetris or Zelda or, Call of Duty. When I was trying to like edit, I'd be here and like people in the background, hey man, like, are you gonna cut? No, I'm editing. I'm editing. Like that was my job. And so I had to learn how to break away. And so I will normally do a 60 to 90-minute run on editing, get up, walk away, come back, maybe 3 or 4 hours later, do another hour and a half, or an hour, get up, walk away, come back the next day, do an hour, and then I'm done. And then I just kind of do a fine tune hour before I submit. So you remember I was telling you on Friday, like I may get this out on Feature Friday, but there's no guarantee. And if I don't, I will, release it on Tuesday. Well, I got it out on, Friday night. Was that a good idea? Probably not. Whatever. But I did get it out, and I was like, you know what? At that point, it was me watching it over and over again, making sure things lined up correctly on my editing board. And so that was the last point. And I was like, you know what? Send. And that was it. So upload.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I've developed a plan. So I do an hour and a half, skip about 3 to 4 hours, come back, skip another, 3 to 4 hours, come back. So it probably takes me about anywhere between 5 hours, maybe, but it's a span of maybe 3 days, so
Yeah. Wow.
that
Yeah.
helps.
So huge. Because I think that's one of the things that one of the biggest struggles is like, how do I find the time to do everything that I want to do? And
Right.
I mean, that's a great way. Live streaming is also a really great way because
Yeah.
there's like going to be an hour of content today and I am not going to edit any of it, but I am
Right,
going to
right,
chop it
right.
down into little bits. But it's like, it's amazing. It's amazing. But the scheduling is so I think important it's really easy to, yeah, like Nobu said here, editing can get crazy and take over your life if you let it. Well, like
I was on that. I was on my way to literally consuming my life. It was to a point where I was like, I don't want to watch football, American football. I know, because I know there's Aussie football and then there's soccer.
there's all kinds.
So yeah, I definitely want to make sure I tell everybody I do know differences. But yeah, it was getting to a point where I didn't want to do what I normally love to do. And I was like, okay, something's got to change. Something's got to change. And that's what I did. I went back and listened to what Heather was saying about the scheduling, which has helped me tremendously.
That's fantastic. The gaming enthusiast has just popped in. Thank you so much for being here. Awesome to have you. And 5 to 6 hours is average for editing.
Yeah. So I think we're all in the, in the right realm. And I think a lot of people. Oh, what is Sean saying?
Bigger videos used to take me a full day. When I use StreamYard to make the video, it's taking me about 4 to 6 hours now.
Right.
That
So I
seems
think
like
we're all in the same.
that's
Yeah,
good.
we're all in the same area.
But the 20 hours that it used to take me is a little bit too much.
Yeah. And I've heard that the live stream life is the best life. And I have a plan for that coming up. That I'm going to be, and I talked about it in my I think I might have taken that out. I think I'm using it as a surprise, but I will be doing some live stream classes. At some point, I don't know when. Like I think I told myself I was going to start doing it at like 400, and then 400 to 500 shot so fast between the quick. I was like, oh wait, it's too soon. So I was like, all right, 500 to 600. Well, that didn't last long. Then I'm like, all right, 600 to 700. I'm working on something totally different. Now I'm like, okay, 800. I'm gonna start doing these live streams, right? So, so
That's amazing. Yeah,
so,
and like I'm not surprised by your. Do you know how much your channel's grown just in the past month? Because I do.
no, I don't. I'm not even looking.
181 subscribers in the past month, which for a
Yeah,
small YouTuber is
yeah,
huge.
and I'm talking about Spanish, like learning Spanish. Like there's people out here trying to learn. Like that's a shout
Yeah,
out to the people in the world that are actually trying to learn now
yeah.
the language. So I'm excited about that because my friend here, my brother Sean, we have now developed goals. Like I was telling you about the goal where I wanted to hit 100 subscribers a month, and he was like, "Hey man, that's a great idea. Let's go for that 100 um a month." And we have superseded the 100. I think now he's like averaging 170 plus. And so I
Mm,
was like, hey, I need to get like, let me move that up. Let me move the goalpost a little bit. And I'm going to try to get like
mm.
125 a month. And I mean, it's happening. It's happening. So these are things that I appreciate you, brother. Muchísimas gracias, señor. So that is something that we're working on, and we're always shooting these goals. Like right now, I
Mm.
know for him, he's teetering on the 2,000 sub mark. So we're always like, hey, do this to get, we're always pushing. So I implore anybody. Great question, Nobu. So I implore anybody, if you're out here as a beginner on YouTube, to find a group. You don't have to be in a Facebook group with random people, but if you know of some people that that are on YouTube, or if you just kind of, not stalk somebody's page, but like if you just go into there and like, hey, type in a comment, hey, and there's small YouTube group, small YouTuber, or they're in that range, I would definitely reach out and say, hey, is there something that, maybe I can talk to you about, or, can I exchange emails and, kind of get that, my man, there we go. So, that's
Mm.
one thing. I definitely think we need to have a group here. If you don't have a support, a support group,
I actually
definitely
have
want
a
to form that.
Facebook group.
See, hey,
It's
sweet.
very small Facebook group, but it's awesome, and it's just another way that we
Did you
can
create the
connect.
group?
I created the group.
Sweet,
It's very
sweet,
small. It's
sweet.
very small, but it's some of the people who are watching are in it, and it's awesome. And love to have people come in and contribute and like sharing videos, saying, giving each other feedback is my goal with that group. But just
Awesome.
yeah,
So
have
we
another
we
place to
developed,
connect.
we developed our group via WhatsApp. So we're
Yeah.
constantly talking. It's like it's overload, but I love it because my brain is just like, oh man, that's a great idea, and then or
Yeah,
I'll see
yeah.
a video. We're all about sharing links to like Nick Nimmin, or Sean, or
Mhm.
somebody from Think Media, or from Roberto Blake, and I'm like, oh, did you see this from Channel Makers? And I'm just like copying the link or whatever. So Nobu's question, let me jump back to that a little bit. So he
Yes.
says, how many videos a week are you posting?
Yeah, is this typical? Because I see you did 11 in the past month.
Yeah, so that's counting shorts, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
And so I have a idea. I have a method to the madness. At one point, Nobu, there was a point where I was literally trying to do this because I was watching something super radical from Channel Makers, where he was like, "Hey, man, put 30 videos out as quick as possible. Like if you can do 30 in 30 days." I was like, "Oh, that's an awesome idea." And then Roberto was like, "Hey, put 100 out." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna create this 30 for 30 challenge and I'm gonna put 30 videos out." And no, did not work. It worked like the first 5 or 6 days and it was burnout. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 30 videos. I'm gonna put it in a playlist. It's gonna seem like it's 30 videos in 30 days because it's 30 videos in that playlist. But I was just, at this point now, um, I average between 1 to 2 videos a week.
Yeah.
1 to 2 videos a week. Um, but my method is video, well, VOD or long form, short, long form. And then
Yeah.
I'll kind of flip it and go long form, short, long form, short. And I kind of just alternate that. So and then now I was just listening to something today from a podcast from Think Media where he was like, hey, the days that you're not on, Sean was like, the days that you're not on, go to your community tab and put something in. I'm like, oh, now that will reduce the amount of times that I have to create, edit, things of that nature. So within a 7-day span, I might get 2 videos out. But if I'm so proud of what I did, it's like 1 video every 7 days. And then it's like
Yeah.
short, maybe. So
Yeah. So how are you using the community tab? Like what kind of stuff are you sharing in there?
good question. So sometimes it's like a tweet. I consider like community tab to me is like, and we were talking about this last week, where I feel like it's something to grow. And you got to grow it just like you grow your channel. You've got to grow your community to understand now I have direct interaction with you. And so I have now treated it like it's a tweet, and I'll just kind of something's on my mind. Let me ask somebody what you think. Now, quite honestly, my community is like not really all about like talking to me right now for some reason. Whatever. I'll get like 4 or 5 people, but one person, if somebody responds, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
but the polls, if it's something that's really interesting, people, and I love polls. I'm a poll person. Like,
Polls
if
are
I can
great.
do the A, B, or C, like, oh man, this is like the best thing. It's like a game, and so that's what I literally love to do. And I think you have to know your community. Your community likes polls. Give everybody polls all the time. If that's what they like, or not all the time, but that's what you want the large majority of your community tab to be.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to like, there might be something where I haven't gotten to the point where some people will be like, hey, like some people I know, hint, hint, he will put, hey, this is blah, 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 blah. This is going on. And if you haven't seen this video, you might want to check out blah, blah, blah. I want to use that strategy, but I want to use it to go back in time to some of the earlier videos that I use and not necessarily my most recent video. You know what I mean? So that's something that I'm going to probably use that same strategy. So that I can start dropping links in the community the community tab, so that people can go back and say, oh man, I do need to know.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm really looking forward to going and having I assume you're talking about Sean.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I've
I'm
learned
really
a lot from
looking
this
forward
guy. Like anybody named Sean right now on YouTube is pretty much, like I'm like
anyone
following
called
him and like
Sean's
learning stuff.
great.
Yes. So yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to going and having a good stalk of what you're doing on your channel after this.
Yeah.
There's just so much that we can learn from each other and from other people who are doing well, and it's so good. It's so exciting. I love it so much. We're about at that hour mark, which
Yes.
is
It flew by.
always unbelievable. I say it pretty much every week.
Oh,
And
there's
if
my
I don't
brother
say
there.
it, I
So
think
yeah,
it.
that's my real brother. So Bruce
Oh,
Rain. Yeah.
Bruce. Bruce is your
Yep.
brother?
Yes.
Bruce is like the most Australian name there is. Do you know that?
I used to tell him he was adopted when he was growing up. So I think that's a thing that people do when you're like the older sibling, like you tell the younger sibling, hey, you're not really you were adopted,
Definitely.
So
I was told I was adopted too, but I look a lot like my grandmother, so I don't know if it could possibly be true. But yeah, I think that's a definite thing.
Yeah.
Bruce wants to know how it's going. How is it going, Bruce?
Yeah. He said it was so traumatic. Yeah.
Very traumatic. Very traumatic. Marianne Cresp says Tube Spanner just released a video on how to use all the different community post options. Awesome. That is a fantastic video to go and check out next. If you don't want to, check out one of mine or one of Omar's videos next, check out something next. YouTube's great. Go and learn something.
Yeah,
have a great day.
I love this. This is great. Yeah, I gotta keep showing up now. This is so this is your time. Tuesdays, do you normally Tuesday
This
for
is
you,
my
but
time.
Monday for okay.
Yeah, this is my time. And I mean, it seems to be it's an awful time for my brother, who is the middle of the night for him. He lives in Germany.
Oh.
But yes, I've watched yours, Claire. What have you watched of mine? What have you watched of mine? What have you watched of mine, Marianne?
Oh, your mom says you were definitely not adopted. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, Mum,
Thanks,
that's
Mom.
good. Straight from the horse's mouth. But I mean, you know, not that that's wonderful to be adopted. There's also another
Oh yeah,
side to
absolutely,
that story.
absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
yes. Marianne has watched my videos, and I really appreciate that, Marianne. I'm so grateful. Yeah,
Got
it's such a wonderful thing. I love chatting with other YouTubers because, like, you know, my wife may get sick of hearing about it at some point if she's not already. It's so good. This community is so beautiful. Christian's laughing. It's great. Beautiful. So yes, this is my usual time. Come and join me next week.
absolutely,
And it's going to be a bloody hoot, I'm sure.
absolutely,
And thank
absolutely.
you, Omar, so much for coming and
Thank you for
sharing
having me.
with us all. And thank you, everyone, for being here live with us. And thank you to everyone who has watched an hour of a replay. Good on you. Good for you. And yeah, catch you next week. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
All right. Nos
Bye
vemos.
bye.